Welcome back to another rock tumbling video. In this video, we're going to take all of these cut rocks and tumble them. See how well they shine up. See what beautiful patterns we can reveal. Where did these rocks come from, you ask? Well, I have this series out called the Great Kendra Scott Rock-Off. What you see before you are my entries for the last couple of contests that we've had. Most of these are going to be agates. Most of them should turn out really pretty. Some of these, hopefully just a couple, will be duds. Let's hope that most of these are stunning. Look at this one, for example. Don't you imagine that once we get this thing tumbled smoothly and polished brightly, it will be beautiful. As will that, a little mossiness in there. Oh sure, check that one out. That's mossy with some color. I think we're gonna have a really exciting batch here. What I'm going to do is get all of these in a barrel, probably maybe a 12-pound barrel. This is a rather large lot of rocks here. I'll get these rolling in the coarse grit, and I'm gonna keep them rolling until they're smooth. Now, they're not going to be perfectly smooth. Many of these rocks are just way too coarse on the outside to ever get them really perfectly smooth like I like my rocks, but I'm still gonna make them smooth enough so that they take a brilliant polish. This little rock here should be very attractive once it gets smoothed out and takes a shine. We're gonna find out. I'll get these rolling, I'll get them smooth. Once they're smooth enough to move on to the polishing stages, I'll bring these back in here and I'll show you what they look like. So check it out, after many weeks, our rock-off rocks are finally smooth enough to move on to the polishing stages. What a transformation. Look at some of these rocks. Don't you imagine that these will be beautiful once they take a shine? I think so. Even though you see all these pits in here, once that chalcedony is shiny, it should be beautiful. Then check out some of the other patterns that are revealed under the skin. That's my favorite part, tumbling these, seeing what's under that skin. You just never know until you get them grinding. Like, look at this one, for example. That's cool looking. That should be very nice. Another good example of one that under the skin is just super nice. Look at that right there. That reddishness right there. I like it. What else we have here? What else we have? Well, you get the point. These have transformed quite a bit. And hopefully they'll all take a nice shine. I know we have some, here's a very fine mossy agate right here. You can see that. What else is in here? What's this one? Yeah, just a plain old chunk of chalcedony with some very rough stuff in it. Regardless, it's still going to take a nice shine. Oh, this will be a fun video once I finish all these and start doing that final polish section. I imagine we're gonna have some stunners in here. Well, let's find out. Let me go ahead and get these in the vibratory tumbler now. I'll go for about 10 days, use 4 different grits, and after that final polishing phase, I'll bring these all back in here and I'll show you what they look like. Well, what do you think? Now that our rock-off rocks are finally finished with the polishing, aren't you glad you stuck around? We've got some beauties in here. This video is going to be a fun one if you like looking at pretty rocks. Let's take a look at some of the nicer ones. We'll begin with the elephant in the room, this big guy here, which obviously went together. You can see that it was one complete rock until the rock-off contest where we cut it in half. I honestly don't remember if this rock won against my wife Kendra's rock. Regardless, it turned out really cool, being all tumbled and shiny. Let's take a look at this side first. What do we see? What do we see? Oh, that's pretty. Once that shell gets ground down, you never know what you're going to find. The quartz, that white chalcedony with the banding. And on this side, we had a little bit of brown in there. That's cool. What about the other one? Let's look at that. This one had more of whatever this stuff is on it. Check that out. That's cool, right? Oh, see, it's got sort of a metallic reflection to it there. You see that? What is that stuff? Wow, really pretty rock now. I think we're off to a good start. I suspect these two went together. They sure look similar, although they don't line up just perfectly, but that's probably due to the grinding that occurred during the coarse grit tumbling. I like these a lot, even though they have so many little pits, little imperfections, areas that did not shine. Look at the little Easter eggs we can find. This one, for example, has that red there right at the end. You see that? That's cool. What about this half here? Yeah, little spots of, well, red right there. That's the cut surface, of course. Yeah, I like that. Interesting, right? Huh, a good rock. Several of these will look like this one here. You know, the typical West Texas mossy agate. Isn't that beautiful? I could just stare at these all day. That pattern in there, the colors, great rocks for tumbling. I suspect these went together at one time. They're similar looking. Let's take a look at this half here. Is that a spall right there, or is it just a design in the rock? I'm going to go with spall, you know, where you have that fracture. In this case, it gives it a cool look. Anything else on this shiny rock we can enjoy? There's something going on there, it looks like. Another little spall mark, which gives it some character. What about the other half? Just dark shininess right there. Thank goodness for those spalls. We might not see much at all in this one. Although this side's kind of interesting here. Yeah, this one's just sort of, oh, I don't know, average. Check out the beautiful color on this one here. And it's got a little bit of something going on the inside. A little quartzy pocket right there. Fine banding. I just really like this amber color. It's a beautiful, beautiful stone. This is a good looking agate. I think it won the rock off, as I recall. This was the face that we saw against Kendra's. It's got a little bit of quartz, some fine banding. Now that it has been tumbled, check it out. Look at this stuff up here. I do like those patterns that come through when you start to grind away the shell on these West Texas agates. Makes them a lot more interesting. I hope you agree. Here's another really good example of what I'm talking about. This was the cut face, and it's quartzy with some chalcedony, right? Check out this area once it's been ground down. Look at all the features in there. That is super cool, I think. Lots of fun stuff right there. You see that? Never would have known that was there until the 6090 silicon carbide did its thing. Here's a fun one. What a cool pattern here. And when I turn it over, look at this. That's also fun. Looks like an apostrophe, doesn't it? Nice stuff. You see that chalcedony right there, the translucent part? And then this opaque stuff here. I find it really interesting. Check out this quartzy one right here with some other stuff in it on this side. And when we slowly turn it over, more fun stuff. Look at that. Lots of color in there, right? You see that? I think I'm seeing some red in there. Now this one looks a lot like the Crayola agate that we were finding out there in West Texas near Alpine. Beautiful pattern in there. Not a great tumble, but a really nice shine. And again, what a pattern, right? I just had to try to show you this small one here. I don't know if it's going to turn out very good. It's so small, but it has some really nice detail in it. Do you see that? Those inclusions. I wish it were about 10 times the size, but what are you going to do? You take what the rock gives you, right? Here's another small biscuit that had a decent cut face, but now look at the exposed shell area. Now that it has been tumbled, look at all that pattern in there. What did we reveal in this case? A good-looking rock. That's my answer. I remember cutting this one. This was one of my favorites. Check this out. Let's start with the smaller side here. It has the rhyolite down here, but look at this area up here. Tell me that's not just super gorgeous stuff right there. It's a chalcedony, sort of a, I don't know, dark greenish brown color. You see that in there? Now let's look at the bigger piece. Yeah, there you can really see it there. So on the one side you had this, which, well, although I was calling it a rhyolite, it looks like it might actually be a chalcedony. And on this side you had this beautiful stuff here, kind of almost a pluming agate right there. That looks like it could be pluming. I didn't notice that before. Heck, that makes it even more special. Now this is a cool rock. You're not going to see too many like this out there. Time for another one of these small biscuits. That's the cut face right there. You can see something going on down here, and wow, there you go. A little grinding goes a long way. You see all that nice stuff in there. I sure love tumbling these small West Texas biscuits. Just wait until you see the fine detail in this rock here. I think it's a moss agate, a very fine moss agate. I believe that's what I'm seeing right there. I'm looking through my phone screen, but to my eye, it looks like there's lots of stuff going on in this rock. I hope that's what you're seeing as well. Otherwise, it's just a plain old brown rock. This little guy is going to be tough to show you, but I'm telling you right now, it is a special rock. I can remember this rock off, and I knew when I cut it, it was going to be nice. If you look very closely there, yes, you see that? That's a sagenitic agate right there. When the light strikes it just right, you can see it. It's, oh, there, oh, clearly, right there. Yeah, you can see it there. As I recall, this one lost. Kendra had an even better rock, but now that I've got this one tumbled, it's a special little rock. Biscuit time again. What does this one look like under the shell? More of the same. Really cool stuff. You can see quartz through there. You see the chalcedony and all those little inclusions. Now, mind you, the longer you tumble these in the coarse grit, I'd say, less interesting they become because you just grind through all that. So you have to decide when enough is enough. I like them when they look just about like this. Now here's another nice piece of chalcedony, good color, and the cut face has, well, you see quartz, you see banding. Nice. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see the details in this one, but if you can, it's a really cool looking little agate right here. It's a dark chalcedony with lots going on inside of it. You can see sort of in there, I think. Of course, it has that host rock on it. Takes away the shine. But trust me, there's still some cool stuff going on in this little agate. I think this is the other half of that one, I believe. And yeah, look in there. You see that? There's fun stuff in there. I think you can make it out. Looks like I could have done a better job cleaning this one, but if you can look past that, oh, it's interesting, right? Are you ready for a big chunk of moss agate? Look at this one here. Ooh, very pretty, right? Let's turn this one over. What do we have on this side? Just lots of chalcedony. Ooh, that's fun there. I like what that revealed. What about the bottom? Yeah, not as nice. I think I showed you the other half of this one earlier. It has that cool semicircular pattern right there. Lots of chalcedony. Another beautiful little rock. It's time for another biscuit, another cut face, and what did we reveal? Let's see, anything cool in here? Ooh, I like that right in there. Nice pattern. Oh, very, very interesting, I think. This may be my favorite so far. Don't be too quick to judge this little beauty. I remember this one, and I can tell you that it won the rock off. I remember it distinctly with those water lines right there, the quartz. It was a small one, but it had a really good looking inside. I like this little piece of the moss agate, not so much for this side, which, as you can see, has those little soft pits, but this side, look at that. Aren't the details amazing in those moss agates? The little pools of chalcedony, sort of a light gray, almost bluish color, with that really fine mossiness. Oh, heck, I can take a few soft pits if it gives me this view right here. Speaking of soft pits, this cut agate is not super interesting on this face here, but I found this interesting here, and oh, here it is, right here. Check out how that material just doesn't really shine. The area right around those little high points right there. I guess it's just too coarse to take a good shine. Looks interesting though, right? Looky what I found. This is the other half of that sagenitic agate that I showed you earlier. There, you can see it. Look at that in there. Those fine little sticks, those little sprays. This half did not tumble quite as smoothly. Interesting looking though, right? That, though, is the money shot right there. I just had to show you this little guy right here. Check it out. It's a moss agate. Very pretty, right? You see that? And, ooh. Oh, that's nice there, right? Look at that. And then, check out this side here. This is my favorite side right here. It has a ghost-like feature right in the middle there. You see that? Sort of a, there. Right in the middle of the screen. That to me looks like a ghost with a big mouth open or something going on there. Maybe a COVID mask on his face. That's what I'm seeing. Tell me what you see. I think these might have gone together, although I can't quite figure out exactly how. They're maybe moss agates. You see that in there, the fine detail? I'm not 100% sure. These may not be. They're pretty, whatever they are. Take a good shine. There's that soft or that coarse area that doesn't really do much. But then you see that flat pattern there. That looks pretty nice. That must have been the cut surface for that particular round of the rock off. And I am guessing here, but I'm pretty sure I would have lost that round. And here's another small one I really want you to see. Not so much for this side here. It looks sort of like that last one, just maybe a fine moss. This side, I think, is really cool. Look at this. Let's see if we can get that light just right. Now, to my eye, that's an interesting pattern. There's a lot going on in there. Yeah, you can see it there. Those West Texas rocks, you just never know what you're going to see until you grind them down and polish them. I couldn't let this video end without showing you a little bit of banding. Look at that. Small cut agate. That would have been the cut face, and it has that light bluish gray banding along with the darker blue stuff. Yeah, these are really very, very common out there near Alpine, Texas. And sometimes you can find some really stunningly beautiful scenes on the inside. I believe I might have shown you the other half of this one earlier in this video. I like this side here. It's just interesting to me how that rock formed with those shapes, almost geometric shapes. Otherwise, it's just so-so. But with that, I think it's a keeper. One more of these bigger moss agates with lots and lots of details. Look at that. There are those little bits of the chalcedony in there. Of course, you got your pits, which tend to get dirty. And look at this side here. That's interesting, right? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Lots of little details in there. Yeah, otherwise it's just sort of an average West Texas rock. Okay, just 2 more to go. This little biscuit here, there's the cut face. You see quartz and a little bit of chalcedony. What about the shell of this one? Look at this. That is super cool right there. You see that looks like pluming, doesn't it? Right there. That's exactly what that looks like. So I'm going to call it pluming. Very cool. Oh, I do like this one. Wow. You can see it's just super thin, that brownish area right there. But beautiful. I hope you agree. And now for the last one, I'll show you this, which is a mossy agate for sure. I like this one because as I turn it over here, you'll see it has some color in it. Look at that there. You've got a reddish orangish color and then a yellowish golden color there. You see that? That's nice, right? Pretty chalcedony through there. I think that's a beautiful tumbled stone. And here are the rest. Pretty much the same as you saw. They're shiny and some details and they fall out of my hands, but you know, a good batch overall. Well, there you have it. That's the batch of the latest round of Rock Off rocks that I had cut to battle my wife, Kendra. She usually wins those Rock Offs. If you watch that series, you know that she tends to kick my butt. But I've got some good ones. This one in particular. Look at that. It's probably my favorite of the whole batch. Maybe. I don't know. There were a lot of good ones in here. Hope you agree. Nice and shiny, beautiful patterns, lots to see. Nature showing off as usual. Well, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And be sure and check my other videos for more like this. Thanks again.